In the dry heat of the ancient Near East, long before kings ruled Israel and temples were built in Jerusalem, two men walked paths that would forever shape the legacy of faith: Abram, later called Abraham, and his nephew Lot. Their story was not only one of family and journey, but of choices, consequences, and the revealing of human character in the light of divine promise. Abram was a man chosen by the Almighty, called out from the land of your to journey to a land yet unseen, carried not by certainty but by trust. Lot, the son of Abram's deceased brother Haran, joined his uncle in the divine venture. Where Abram walked by faith, Lot often followed convenience. Their connection was familial, but the thread that bound them would soon be tested by abundance, ambition, and ultimately, by the will of God. After leaving Egypt, where Abram's deception about Sarai had caused strife, but also yielded wealth, the two men returned to Canaan, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where Abram had previously built an altar. They had grown wealthy livestock, silver, gold. Their possessions were too vast for the land to support them both together. Tensions rose between their herdsmen. The land, though promised, was not endless. Strife threatened unity. In wisdom and humility, Abram approached Lot. "Let there be no quarreling between us," he said, "for we are relatives. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left." This was not weakness, but strength: a leader, willing to defer for the sake of peace. Lot's eyes lifted not to heaven, but to the plains, saw the lush Jordan Valley, described as like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. He chose for himself the fertile land, pitched his tents near Sodom, a city known even then for its wickedness. The choice revealed the man. Lot sought prosperity, comfort, and visible abundance. Abram, who had trusted God through famine, Pharaoh, and uncertainty, was content to walk the less obvious road. After Lot departed, the Lord spoke to Abram again. "Lift up your eyes from where you are, and look north and south, east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever." God's promise came not to the ambitious, but to the obedient. Abram moved his tents to Hebron and built another altar. His wealth was not measured in land or livestock, but in the presence of God. There, under the oaks of Mamre, his covenantal journey deepened. Lot's story diverged into the shadows. Though materially successful, his proximity to Sodom would soon cost him dearly. War came. Kings of the east battled against the kings of the plain. Lot was taken captive along with all his possessions. When Abram heard of his nephew's plight, he didn't hesitate. With 318 trained men born in his household, he pursued the invaders as far as Dan. A surprise attack at night brought victory. Lot and the other captives were rescued. Abram's triumph could have become a claim to power. The king of Sodom offered riches, but Abram refused. "I have raised my hand to the Lord, God Most High, that I will accept nothing belonging to you, so that you will never be able to say, 'I made Abram rich.'" Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, met Abram with bread and wine and a blessing. Abram gave him a tenth of everything. This priest-king foreshadowed something eternal. Abram's heart remained aligned not with the world's kings, but with the divine king. Lot returned to Sodom. Time passed. The cries of the city's wickedness rose to heaven. God decided to intervene. But first, he visited Abram. Three figures, messengers of the divine, came to his tent. They dined with him, and one revealed Sarah would bear a son, Isaac. Then came the grave declaration. Sodom and Gomorrah would be judged. Abram pleaded. He negotiated with God, asking if the cities could be spared for the sake of the righteous. "Will not the judge of all the earth do right?" The divine response showed mercy, but the threshold was low: 10 righteous people. The cities failed the test. Angels arrived in Sodom and found Lot at the city gate. He offered them shelter, insisted they stay. That night, the depravity of Sodom revealed itself. A mob demanded the strangers. Lot, in misguided hospitality, offered his daughters instead, a decision that exposed how deeply Sodom had corrupted him. The angels intervened, struck the men with blindness, and warned Lot to flee. "Take your wife, your daughters, flee for your lives, don't look back." Lot hesitated. The angels seized them and led them out. As the sun rose over Zoar, fire fell from heaven. Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. He fled to the mountains, dwelt in a cave. His daughters, believing they were the last on earth, committed a dark act: each slept with their father to preserve offspring. The sons born of those unions became the ancestors of Moab and Ammon, nations that would trouble Israel for generations. Abram, meanwhile, walked forward in covenant. He built altars, he circumcised his household, he awaited the promised child. The contrast was stark: one man's legacy, built on faith and promise, the others entangled in survival and compromise. The story of Abraham and Lot is not simply about family separation. It is about vision of what we choose when offered, the plains of promise or the altars of obedience. Lot chose what pleased the eye. Abram chose what honored the Lord. The lesson echoes still. Those who walk by faith may walk harder roads, but they inherit eternal promises.